Welcome back to Completing Football Manager. My name is Anders and we are in Slovakia, which I believe is our 16th nation, I think, out of 54. We're about to join ZP Sport Podbrzova, which is in Slovakia. Please like this video if you're enjoying this series and subscribe to the channel if you aren't already, and share it around with all your friends and get more people watching it because it's great. I'm having lots of fun. We're playing in all random nations, but we are now going to Slovakia for the first time ever, I think, which is another first time because a lot of the nations we've managed in so far is the first time I'm ever managing there. But here we go. We are the new manager of Podbrzova in Slovakia, and it's very much close to the beginning of the new season. We've obviously just left Hungary. If you aren't up to date with the series, blink and you'll miss Hungary. We were literally there for 170 days, won the Conference League and the league title all in one season. We came back from 8th to win the league in one shot. That was at the end of May when I left. It's now July, and the schedule suggests that we are starting the league in 11 days. So it's going to be a quick turnaround. This is the squad. I've not obviously looked at it in any great detail. We've got some foreign markers here. So what is the league rules in Slovakia? A maximum of 5 non-EU players in the match squad, I think. It doesn't specify that it's match day squad or starting 11, so it must be the match squad. And we've got 5 non-EU players already in the club. So we will not be signing anyone from outside of the EU, I don't think. Looking at the ages of our squad, it's quite young again. A couple of veterans-ish kind of players. This guy, Eric Gallo, is our best player, homegrown, 22-year-old central midfielder. Yep, looks good. Looks good player. Attila Gajdos, right back. Ooh, he looks quite nifty as well. Decent physicals there. Yeah, okay, I like him. Right back can play on the left as well, which is always nice. Versatile. Andrei Ivanov, Belarusian. He's at Naftan. Obviously, we've been to Belarus. We've won in Belarus already. He's a striker. Amadou So, Juan Uru, attacking midfielder. Decent-looking goalkeeper potentially as well. Yes, he looks like a good goalkeeper. Right, okay, we've got this foundations by the looks of things of a good squad. I'm not sure what formation we're going to play yet. Probably flat back 4, potentially 3 central defenders. Looking at that, we've got some decent looking central defenders. Probably maybe do 4-2-3-2 potentially. Is that enough? No, 4-3-2-1. I've added an extra player on the pitch. We probably ought to do that. Competitions wise, it's just the league and the cup in Slovakia. They failed to get European football last season. If we quickly look at last season's table, finished 4th, 3 back from the European places. And this guy, I'm guessing these did something in the cup to get that final place. So no distractions. Not that distractions hindered us in Hungary, of course, because we won the Conference League. But not much of a big climb to get into the top 3. Top 2 is attainable as well. Slovan Bratislava probably aren't in the near term. 23-point gap to try and bridge, which, to be fair, we've done it in Hungary, so we could do it again. But there we go. Right, season starts in a couple of weeks. We'll try and do a couple of transfers. Not sure who we'll bring in or where. Maybe a second striker. If this guy can play in the attacking midfielder role, he can. Maybe we'll do that. It depends on the formation we go for. Maybe a left back as well. If we've got a good right back, but no decent looking left, maybe he's the best looking left back. I don't know. We'll have a look around the squad, go through pre-season. In fact, we'll probably just go through the first half of the season, given how close we are to the start of the campaign. Have a look at how we're getting on at the midway point. I believe the league splits in half in Slovakia. Yes, it splits in half. I'm guessing we do 22 games, and then split into 2 groups of 6, championship group and relegation group, and there's a European places playoff going on as well. Some European qualifying places. Excellent. Right, we'll be back after 16 games of the season, just before the league breaks in half, and see how we're getting on with Podbrzova. Obviously, like, subscribe, share around. Hopefully we're done in a season again, because that was just incredible. But we shall see. Right, thanks for watching. Let's go and play the first half of the season in Slovakia. Okay, first game in charge in Slovakia was away at Zelenia. and it took a header at the back post late on to kind of steal the game from the jaws of, a draw. They were the better side, but we got the victory on the day. We followed that up with another victory, 3-0 in the second game, and then took a bit of a turn as we faced some of the better sides in the league. Trnava, Slovan Bratislava, Banksa Bystrica actually have been playing really well this season as well, so they might not be one of the bigger sides in the league, but they have beat us twice, which is the only side to do so far. We've got Slovan Bratislava up next in the next fixture. We've also picked up a 5-3 victory there against Zvolen. That's our biggest victory, I think, so far. As mentioned, Bankska getting 2 victories over us so far this season, both home and away. But generally speaking, it's not been a bad start to the campaign. 5th as we sit at the 16 game mark, which should comfortably get us into the top 6. After 22 games, we break off into the top 6 and the bottom 6, and we are pretty much set to be there, 9 points clear of 7th, with sort of 6 games to go in this first half of the season. So a comfortable, if not spectacular, start to life at Podbrezova. If we have a look at how we've made the squad our own, obviously we started out joining the side just before the season began. We've got rid of a few players. Uriel Guni has gone to Dubnica for 125k, and then we've got a few loans gone out as well. He is the only actual sale, but he was left back and we've replaced him as well, so it's not the end of the world. He wanted to leave and we've got rid of him to another side in the top division. He's the only real transfer out. The rest, as I said, loans, and then we brought in some players. So Yuri Bohak was definitely our initial replacement for him at left back, but then we've got another guy in on loan. This guy here, Dale Butler, sounds English, played in Italy, is Greek. If we look here, he's actually not at all English. He's just got a very English sounding name, but he's on loan from Inter, who I found that we'd got a relationship with as a club, so we're going to get them in on loan there. Hopefully, we're going to try and steal him at the end of his contract, because his contract's up at the end of the year, but he doesn't currently want to come to Slovakia. And the only other signing we've made is Henry Baez, veteran Swiss striker, 34, but still got 16 finishing. He's going to be basically providing support to Joaquim Hidalgo, who I believe is probably going to be our star striker. They've got 7 goals for Hidalgo, 8 for Baez. They're kind of splitting the difference at the moment as our chief striker. In terms of elsewhere, if we have a look, we've got this guy here wanted. He's a new guy, I think, Udri Nkoglo. But yeah, Espen Uren is currently wanted, and we could do with the money as well. We're in a bit of debt, not making much money. Without any European football, it's quite difficult, apparently, with a slightly smaller club in Slovakia. In terms of goals, it's Hidalgo with 10 overall, 7 in the league. Baez has got the other 8 in the league, as we mentioned. Kovacic is also up there, and Gallo, who is our star player. I think he's still our star player anyway. He's got 3. This is the tactic we're playing. I don't think I mentioned that, actually. We've gone for the Llundaid. I can't remember how to spell Lakesiders in Welsh anymore, but we've gone for the same tactic we had at Ballatown, the 4-2-3-1, with a few tweaks here and there, but that is what we are going for, and it seems to be working out so far. A little bit weak on the right wing, probably an area to look to improve, or basically wherever we don't play our best players, because Baez can play on either flank. Hidalgo can play on the left as well, so it's kind of the right flank where we are struggling. I think that's what we started out with the defensive midfielders a little bit further back, but we've moved them to central midfielders now, and we are cooking with gas a little bit more. Kind of when we went through that spell in the middle, that's when we decided to change the tactics of going in September. Looking forward, we've got the Cup quarter-final as well just before the league split. That one's against bogey side Bankska Bystrica. So we'll see how we get on there. Slovan Bratislava, Dunstrada are the next 2 fixtures, and they're probably going to be quite difficult. There's some good sides, but that's essentially where we are after the halfway point of the season. Gallo is still our best player, but we've slowly started to bring in players to bolster the ranks, and it's definitely a building phase this season. If we can get into the top 3, that would be fantastic, but currently 5th. Slovan Bratislava had a slow start, and obviously you can see They've won pretty much every league since the game added Slovakia into the league. Not quite everyone, but pretty much not far off. But there we go. That is where we are currently sitting as we head to the halfway point. Let's go and have a look at how the second half of the season has got on. Okay, here we go. The season has finished, and we've finished second, which is surprisingly good. 10 points back on Slovan Bratislava, but if we look here, we kind of last time I saw you, it was a halfway point. We've kind of won a couple of games, lost a couple of games, got ourselves up into third and then second. And once we got into second, we didn't turn back, essentially. Slovan Bratislava came to the fore late on in the season as well and just ran away with things. Once they got into the Champions Group, they just sort of beat everyone and put the distance between themselves and the rest of us. They won by 10 points. We were 9 clear of third, so we've got Conference League football. And comfortably, in fact, because that's some good performance. You can see our form towards the end of the season had dropped off a little bit, but it was that run. We beat Slovan Bratislava 4-3. In fact, we might as well watch the goals because that's always good to see. We beat them 4-3, which really turned our chances around this season and gave us the momentum to push on and grab that second place. So even though they won the league, we did manage to get second. It was a header at the back post that opened scoring up. They equalised with this effort here. Pincic inside to Kayambe, who tapped it in to get the equaliser. They then did go 2-1 ahead. Kayambe involved again as they spread things wide. We were caught a little bit on the back foot, squared it again. Kayambe got his second. In fact, I don't think he got the first. I think it was actually an own goal. Second half, we turned around, ball over the top. Hidalgo, who has definitely been getting improvements as we go throughout the season. He got it level again. We dropped behind at the hour mark. And it's very much a back and forth game. They pulled us apart when they had the chances, but we took ours as well. We equalised here. Late on, about a minute after they scored, still around the hour mark, ball in. Hidalgo, it kind of took a deflection, kind of didn't, not really sure, but it went in. And then a few moments later, pretty much the next attack, it was definitely the next highlight anyway, ball in, Gallo involved, took it on the edge of the area, turned, shot, scored, 4-3. We hung on. It was a very good game, very tight affair, even, lots of goals. But we managed to steal the victory there. We lost in the Cup, which is unsurprising because we've lost to them 3 times this season. Dunstrada beat us in December as we went into the mid-season break, but we managed to get ourselves back into the hunt. We beat them in the first half of the Championship group. We lost to Slovan Bratislava both times in the group as well. And as you can see, that sort of after we finally got one over on Banska Bystrica, we beat them twice in the Championship group. Once that second game happened, it all but secured our place as second in the league. A couple of defeats against Bratislava and Dunstrada, and then a couple of draws to finish things out. Left the league looking like this. As we said, 10 points back from Slovan Bratislava, but 9 points clear of DAC. Nice performance. All I can say. 17 wins, 7 draws, 8 defeats. In terms of goals scored, Hidalgo got 22 second half of the season. He really came into it. Baez obviously getting nearly 35, but he got 10 in the end anyway. And speaking of old strikers, you may remember Mehdi Mohammadzada, the Iranian striker who appeared at Ballymena and then once again at Shelbourne. I just brought him in for a bit of a laugh, essentially. He was on a free. He's going to become a youth coach or a fitness coach. Youth fitness coach is what his second job title is already. He's still got it, though. 16 finishing. You can't complain. He's played once off the bench. And once, not once off the bench. Once, he started once. He was on the bench and didn't come on. And then he started in the final game of the season. Got 6.5, so never mind. I mean, he's 35. He's going to be 36 soon. He's retiring at the end of next season, so he'll only have a season with us. He might play 5 games, but either way, nostalgia. It's a great thing. He has joined us after several years at Shelbourne. I think did we leave not long after we joined? I can't remember, but we got him back after being at Ballymena, and there he is. So he is with us for the moment. He's technically surplus to retirement. He's got no physical ability anymore, but he can still finish if you give him a chance. That was what we did in the competitions. Got second in the league, out of the cup at the quarter-final stage. Transfer-wise, we have done lots of things, basically. We'll have a look at the outs first. Espen Uren, who I briefly mentioned, was getting some attention, was wanted, so he has gone to Banyas for just under £1 million. A couple of smaller transfers out as well. Daniel Dobos, who was our third choice goalkeeper, he's gone. We did bring in a few more players, so Dale Butler we'd already mentioned. Florin Christian, he's a goalkeeper. He has joined us, 45 to 50k. He's on a first choice goalkeeper. Then we got Maximilian Forster, who was on loan at Presov, went back to Peru with a week left on his contract because he'd agreed a free transfer to us, and played one game, so he couldn't play for us because he'd already played for 2 clubs this season, which is frustrating. So he's just kind of been sat dicking about for 6 months, which is very annoying because he was a very good defender who we brought in to partner Mohamedou Sow in defence. Very annoying. He replaced Espen Uren and didn't actually play, which is annoying, as I've said, but we didn't need him in the end because we still finished second. As mentioned, Mohamed Zare has already joined us for a game. Robert Barron, Thomas Vey and David Nagy, I think they are youth players. Uri Nkolo is off on a free. No, not for a free, on 155k. The other guys are all off on, are joining us on free. Sorry, I'm getting mixed up with transfers in and transfers out. But these guys we have brought in to bolster our ranks. Pestarek, Gorks, and Daniel Majzik, all joining us to bolster the midfield. This guy can play on the left wing, and he's very good by the look. He comes from Puskas Academia. He's coming on a free. Very much looking forward to having him in the side. Pastorak can play on the right, and Gorks is in the centre of midfield. So we're already bolstering the squad for next season. This is where we're currently lying. Butler is not probably going to join us again, even though trying to, but his contract's up. He doesn't want to join us, never mind. But that is the situation we're in as we head towards next season. Got no money, close to the wage budget, in the negative balance, but there we go. Slovan Bratislava have got loads of money, loads of wage, loads of everything. It's going to be an uphill battle to try and beat them, but that is what we will try and do as we go forward into season number 2 in Slovakia with Pod Brozova, Hang 5, and we'll be there at the start of season number 2. Okay, the summer transfer window is nowhere near finished, and we've joined a little bit earlier than we normally would do. We've got a couple of weeks until the season starts, and there's a reason for that, but we'll cover that in a second. These are the guys we talked about at the end of last season, and we've also got another guy in, Radoslav Augustini, Slovakian attacking midfielder. Very, very good-looking young player. Only 20. He's better than Gallo, so he's going to definitely bolster the midfield. We've also got another guy who is about to join as well, also in midfield. We've got rid of a few people on freeze, a little bit of money coming in. This is a guy, Christopher Eichner, defender, midfielder, both. He is bolstering the midfield as well. Again, really good player, 27-year-old Austrian on trial, going to join us soon. He's just agreeing terms. But things are not that straightforward. Here is the squad as we go through, and this is the schedule. We've got the Conference League starting soon, either Slavia Prague or Puskas Academia. But that isn't the big news. The big news is something else, because Slovan Bratislava approached me for an interview. I decided to take it, and they've approached me for a job. So I'm selling out. I am selling out and going to Slovan Bratislava to become their new manager. Luka Vrabrancic has gone elsewhere. He's on to Al Ittihad. Good for him. Cashed in. I'm going to take his job and waltz to the title because, well, they're so much better than everyone else. They won the league by 10 points. That was against me. So, yeah, they came in yesterday with a job offer, with an interview offer. I've obviously aced the interview and they've offered me the job. So I'm not going to go to the staff meeting, and I'm going to agree terms with Slovan Bratislava to become their new manager. I think actually they're paying me less a week than Pod Brozova, but it's a quicker route to the Slovakian title, so I'm definitely going to say yes. Why wouldn't I say yes? We are off to the league champions, which is cheating, selling out, both, all of the above. Who cares? We just want I just want to take the title as quickly as possible, and that is the route to do so. We've got 8 million in the bank. Transfer budget still sits at 1.5 million. Wage budget is 400k, near enough, which is a lot more than the 60, 70 odd that Podbrezova had got. Champions League football. What can go wrong? There's a couple of guys who I tried to sign as well who decided to turn me down and went to Slovan Bratislava, like Daniel Matic, a Croatian striker, and Daniel Zapata, Colombian left winger. They both went to Slovan Bratislava, so I decided I agreed with them, and that was the right decision to do because I have also gone there. So let's win a league title together. Excellent. This guy's new, Rui Martins. They've spent a lot of money on him. Defender, Portuguese, 25. He looks pretty handy, doesn't he? 15 tackling, 14 heading. Spent some money. They spend 2-3 million a season. We've spent 5 million this season as well, and still got 8 in the bank. So this is Denis Mihai. He's the star player, striker, alongside Fred Kayambe, who I believe scored a couple of goals against us in that 4-3 game last season. This guy, yep, again, there's lots of good players in this side. He got 13 in the league last time around. Denis Mihai's there. Right, was it Mihai who got more goals? 10. Okay. But it cost 1.5 million, which is quite a lot of money and a lot more than I would have been ever able to spend at Podbrezova. Looking at wages, I mean, Fred Kayambe is on half of the wage of the whole side, and Mihai is also on that. So between them, they probably match what I was paying the whole squad at Podbrezova. Juan Quinones looks like a good player. Rui Martins, what he looks like. Mihai, Ely, loads of good players. I mean, the best player I've got at Podbrezova is probably a 3-star player here, would sit in the middle of the pack. So I'd be a fool not to take the opportunity. I've got no idea what tactic will work with them, but we've got a season to win it. It's simple as that. We've got a whole season to try and win. We've got the Champions League to play. Punic or Esportiva from Andorra in the second qualifying round, whichever one it is. I'm pretty sure I've played Punic Yerevan at some point on this save in a European fixture, but that's who we've got in the first phase of qualification for the Champions League. When's the Podbrezova fixture? Middle of September is when we first face them. We've got newly promoted side Rosenborg in the first league fixture as well, so that should be nice and straightforward. I am comfortable that we are going to win the league this year. Very confident. I mean, this is the season preview. Easily the favourites. Podbrezova down in 5th, so it would have been a struggle to still stay second, even with the improved side we've built over there. But that is the situation we now find ourselves in. We've sold out to get the best job in the country, and we're comfortably favourites for the league title. So I can see no problem with this whatsoever. If you don't like the fact I've sold out, let me know in the comments, but I'm not bothered. Oh, he was just a staff member who's gone somewhere else. He's now manager at one of the newly promoted sides. Wonderful. Good for him. Right, that's the league. That's the situation we're in. The season preview sets us nice and far ahead. Banks of Bystricker down. He's 12th on the season preview. Oh, they had a good year last year. Clearly not looking forward to this season. Right, let's go and play the first half of the season and see how easy things are at Slovan Bratislava. Okay, halfway through the sold-out season at Slovan Bratislava, and it's clear to see what's happening. We're going to win the league. 43 points from the first 16 games, just drawn 1, lost 1. 10 points clear of Trnava. Podbrezova, my boys, are down in 5th. A further 6 points back from 2nd, but essentially a draw with Trnava and a loss to Banska Bystrica, who are clearly still our bogey side no matter where we manage in the nation. But we are cruising, absolutely cruising. And look, we're in the Champions League phase as well. And look, potentially could just sneak into the knockout playoffs. I mean, just a couple of points back still. But of the 5 games we've played so far, victory against Hammarby, draw with Nice, and the 3 defeats to Milan, Barcelona and Celtic. A little bit disappointed about the Celtic one. Could have hopefully stolen a draw in that one, but it was the first league game. The league phase, sorry. We beat Punic, we beat Levski Sofia and IA from Iceland in the qualifying rounds. And our first league game in charge was a comfortable 4-2 victory. If we look through, we won a 6-1 there in the cup, 9-0 in the cup, 5-1 in the league. It's apart from a few defeats in Europe, that one defeat there in the league against Banska Bystrica, and other than that, it's been really, really straightforward. I can't complain in the slightest. In terms of the squad, Dennis Mihai is technically our best player, but there's a lot of 3.5-star players. Highest average rating comes from Marek Kiss, who we'll touch on again. We'll touch on some of the players who've joined us, but we're not going to be here for very long, so don't get attached to them. Fred Kayambe has got 24 goals from 24 starts. He is someone you should get attached to because he's very, very good. 30-year-old Belgian, well into his prime. How has he not got any caps at international level? I do not know. Well, I do. It's because he's been in Slovakia for 3 years. But still, before that, he was tearing things up in Belgium. So why hasn't he got any caps? Still, not sure. Transfers. Let's have a where did we? I can't remember where we joined. So Matic, Zabata had already joined. They were the ones who decided to join here instead of Podbrazova. Kamil Travert, a Swiss defender, we got in on a free. He's okay. Milan Balic, Slovak left back. We just needed some Slovakian players to fill out the squad, to be honest. So we spent $750,000 on him. 21-year-old, got some potential, and was the better left back than the one we'd already got. So that's good. Marek Kish, who we've mentioned, right winger. He is challenging for a place. He's kind of displacing Daniel Moss, who's the Australian right winger we already had. He's only 23 and Slovakian, trying to bring a few more Slovaks into the squad. And then we got a Spanish guy on a free, because why not? Can get whoever we want. Important player, attacking midfielder, pretty good. Why not? 4 goals in 7 starts. He joined on a free in September. We sold some players as well. This guy, I sold him as well. Urul Miku, Romanian. I apparently have an issue with selling Romanians on this save. But he went to Al Shabab. He's now worth 20 million. We sold him for $1 million. And loads of other loans. That's just been kind of filling out the squad, to be honest. It was smaller than this when I joined. Wages are ridiculous. There's not much to say other than we're winning the league. It'd be interesting to see if we get into the knockout rounds in the Champions League. If we can get a double, that'd be great. But the league is well and truly won. It's kind of a bit of a hollow victory, just selling out and winning it in the year we've got with the new club. But oh well. That's the way it happens. We're going to try and beat Banska Bystrica in the next game. But after that, it's challenge to try and get into the knockout rounds of the Champions League and see how many points we can rack up. See if we can not drop any more games. We've only lost 1 so far, drawn 1. If we can get to the end of the season and that's still the same situation, it'd be a good year. Right, second half of the season. Let's go. Season is done and we've won the league. 83 points. We drew 5 in the end. We only lost 1 game, but we drew 4 in the second half of the season, which is a little bit disappointing. But it was straightforward. We won the league. We didn't win the cup, though. We got knocked out of the Slovnaft Cup by Podbrazova. So that's karma for you. They beat us in the quarterfinal, on penalties, and then unfortunately lost their semi-final to Zelina, who went on to win the cup itself. Which, never mind, we didn't get the double. We didn't also win the Champions League, which was a shame, but we did get to the knockout playoff round, only to lose to Juventus. We got 2 goals against them in the second leg, but couldn't quite hang on to a result, which it's not really hanging on to a result. We never had a chance at result, but we did get 23rd in the league phase. We were through by a point. We beat Man City 1-0, which was incredible. They are clearly not as good as they once were. Beat Porto 2-1, and the other game we lost to Napoli, the 3 final games of that league phase of the Champions League. We've won. The goals scored, top scorer 13 for Marek Kiss, doesn't account for the 29 that Kayambe got, but he obviously got sold because he's not here anymore. Matic also got 13 in the second half of the season. We got Kem Demir in, he got 7. But looking at the transfers out, it doesn't really matter anymore because we're leaving. But where is he? Fred Kayambe here. Just £1 million to Legia Warsaw. He's still not got any Belgian caps, and he's gone to another small European nation. Well, in footballing terms, not in size, because Poland's quite big. But anyway, he got 29 goals for us in that last season. 19 in the league, 1 in the cup, 9 in the Champions League. Got him a move to Poland, which we need to go to soon as well. In the second half of the season, we brought in Harold Jimenez, Colombian midfielder, strengthened there on a free. Kem Demir on a free, Danish striker, kind of to replace Kayambe, but we didn't need him. We had plenty of players who could replace him. Haris Hasanovic also joined us, Bosnian midfielder. Again, we just brought in some players. He was 150k from Ostia Klagenfurt. And then Nicholas Pedersen, because Kem Demir wanted a Danish player to join us to help him settle in. So we've got a third choice goalkeeper, maybe fourth choice goalkeeper, fifth choice goalkeeper. He's not very good, but he's free. So there we go. We've won. We've won. Slovakia. It feels hollow, I'll be honest. We beat Podbrezova twice in the Champions Group. Lost in the quarterfinals of the Cup, obviously. The run was pretty straightforward. I mean, we got a 7-1 victory over Dunstrader here as well, and just put them absolutely to the sword. And they're a good side. Where did they end up finishing the league? Was it third? Oh no, they finished 6th in the end. They got into the Champions Group though. Not much between 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. We've won. We're off. It's been, how long have we been here? We've been here for 307 days. Obviously, we also had a season, so it's 2 seasons technically in Slovakia. But I am out of here. Thanks, Slovan Bratislava. No, I'm okay. Thank you for letting me sell out and win the league title. We probably would have ended up having a couple of extra seasons with Podbrezova to try and beat them. It would have been hard. Looking at the available jobs, there's nothing. So Finland, Poland, Romania and Slovenia are one of those 4 nations will be where we're going to next, but there's currently no jobs available. If we look at job security, is there anything? Oh, no. No internationals. We want Finland, Poland, Romania, Slovenia. Any of these looking insecure, ones looking okay. None of these. No, who are these guys? FC Rapid in the Super League. Oh, that's a relegation group. That's not really second. That's tricking you. That's not really second. We'll be going to one of those nations. But anyway, if you've enjoyed this sellout video in Slovakia, please let me know in the comments. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Check me out in the next episode where we're off to another nation in Europe as we try and complete Football Manager 2024. Thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you then. Bye.